Sup shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SB Interviews, where today I'll be chatting to an act named Skweeze. Get him. And if we switch over to here, we have the man on the screen. Feel free to introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? My name's Skweeze Get 'em of Get 'em Productions. I do pretty much a little bit of everything. I mix and master for other artists. I teach other younger artists, indie artists, how to license their music correctly. I teach them the importance of having a pro behind you. I teach them about how the royalties work, stuff like that. Basically, just all about bettering the music industry. And I feel as though we're too locked into the genre idea nowadays to be able to fully express ourselves. So that's why we do things like this.
That's interesting because, like, in saying that, I'm aware that maybe asking you what genre you fit into is potentially not the right question. But how would you describe yourself to people trying to find your music or relate to it anyways?
Well, right now I have a lot of hip hop stuff out from whenever I had a business partner, but then me and him had a falling out. Just, different ideas on how business should be done. But he's since separated. But after that, it was hip hop for like 3 or 4 singles, I believe. And then I came out with the acoustic album 2, 3 from 3. I actually called it 2, 3 from 3 because I've died twice. Like my heart has stopped twice. They brought me back to life twice. And so I always say like I'm on my third life. This is my third chance. And even when I sign my name, if I'm like taking my time, I always make sure I put 3 3s underneath my name. I don't know what it is about that number, but ever since I've used it more and more, I've realized not only has my musicality gotten better, but my cognition whenever it comes to like reading sheet music and performing it has gotten better. My full-on understanding of like the harmonics and how they work with the melody and just everything that I've learned in life actually came together with those 3 3s.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry to hear you nearly died twice. How has that affected? So that's how do you find inspiration for your music?
Truthfully, I'm going to be honest with you. Once you study music theory, and I'm sure you know this, it kind of takes a lot of the magic away. Like as a kid growing up, I thought, oh, I'd love to be one of those people that makes a song like whenever I'm sitting in bed and I'm feeling it, like, or when I'm waking up in the morning, I'm getting ready to get on the bus and stuff. As a little kid, I would listen to like Gary Allen. I listen to everything from like Bob Dylan's my all-time favorite, by the way. But it goes like from Bob Dylan to like Disturbed, that one song that they came out with. But I don't know. I mean, the thing is like the inspiration for music comes from my hope that people will be able to see the world somewhat in the way I do one day, where like I don't let preconceived notions affect anything about right now. Like right now is right now, and 10 minutes from now, that's going to happen then. But, I've prepared for this moment. So, I mean, I must be in preparation or already prepped for 10 minutes from now. I just look at everything in life like an algebra problem. The variables, they change, but the problem doesn't.
Yeah, because with Get 'em Productions, the organization that you're at the helm of, as I understand it, that's a big motivator for that too, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, because it's crazy to even think that I've built a brand up that has followers. Because there was actually an article that came out about me recently. It said something about like my total reach with all of my accounts together would equal like 6 million something. I was like, there's no way. So I double checked their numbers and I was like, wow, if you add up every single thing that we've ever done, yeah, like we've reached 6 million people that have like either responded or reacted in some way. And like, and then thinking back, I'm like, wow, I get calls from people from Australia. I get calls from people from the UK. I mean, I help artists obviously all over the world, but like to get a call from like somebody who listens to my music from far away, that's a different thing. Like whenever that happens, it's always a humbling moment. I notice it always happens when I need it most.
No, that's okay. Like if a musician was to come to you right now and say, how would you help me to grow my career if I was just in the beginning stages of distribution, what would you suggest to them?
I would say don't even think about distribution yet if you're still in the beginning stages. Get concrete with your music theory. Understand that like that music stuff that you love, yeah, that's great, but that's 1% of what you're gonna do now. Because now, if you want to take it seriously, you have to understand social media marketing. You have to understand in-person marketing. You have to be a great businessman. You got to be able to articulate the things that you want to say immediately and be the first guy to do it. Because if not, there's gonna be someone that's ready there to do it. You know what I mean? Whenever I was 17, I drove on a whim. I called up Atlantic Records, right? I said, hey, I'm trying to submit my music. My one song that I just recorded, right? Oh man, thinking about it is crazy. But I drove there on a whim And I was getting kicked out by security as the president of Atlantic Records was walking in. He stopped security from kicking me out, right? And this was the first lesson I ever learned in the music industry. And I tell everybody this with a grain of salt, and I let them know, like, hey, be happy I learned it so you don't have to. He said, what makes you think you're worthy of a meeting with me? I said, I'm the next act that's going to make you $1 million. He said, well, you're at the wrong building then, because if you ain't going to make $1 billion, I don't want you here. What's funny is I've turned Atlantic down now 4 times, which is awesome. I love that. I will never go to a label. I want to build my own label because I feel as though the qualities that the early greats had, like, you know, if you think about like Robert Plant or like Steve Gaines or Ronnie Van Zant or like Van Halen, you know, Ozzy Osbourne, those guys didn't come into the music with such a with such a preconceived arrogance and attitude about what they were doing. They were just doing what they were doing and it was working. And I've noticed a lot of people fall into that mindset of wanting to know, like, is what I'm doing working? And my question to them always is like, well, are you happy? You know? And it's kind of ironic too, because I don't feel happy. I mean, I don't feel happy with what I've done. I feel as though like that's honestly what keeps me alive, is like the endless pursuit of telling the story to try to change at least one mind to think, hey, maybe I'm not just another person. Maybe I actually am a soul in here. And like, maybe I'm part of that soul that I'm, you know, persecuting or condescending to. I mean, that's just a thought that crosses my mind every day. Like my all in all goal by the end of this is I'd love to put at least 10 times the amount of kids that I have by that time in college that aren't my kids. Like that's my overall goal here.
These are big goals, and I'm sure that you've got plans in place to achieve them. I'm just thinking about, like, do you have, so is that the kind of endpoint? Is that where you feel like you're going to have succeeded as a musician or as an organization when you're able to do that with the kids?
No, I feel like I'm on the, like, and I hope I don't sound like out of line by saying this, but I lived in a country town and I was a homeless teenager. I'm still with the girl that took me in all them years ago, over a decade ago, well, almost a decade ago now. Just growing up, I didn't have a family or a home. That's like what 2, 3 from 3 is about. If you listen to it chronologically, I did the whole old rocker thing of like telling a whole story the whole way through, and like the effects I chose, like the soft parts and then the crispy parts and stuff, I chose to put those in the places that I did. Some people didn't like the dampened vocals at the beginning, but I was like, well, it has to start dark. I wanted it to start dark and with, you know, a lot of timbre, you know? And I just feel as though like I'm trying to convey the best illustration with sound waves that I possibly can, because I'm extensively trained on electronics too. Like I know not only how to, you know, put the computer together, I know what the parts are doing in it. Like I do some DevOps stuff. I run a mixer here. I got a bunch of stuff here that I'm blessed to have that other people don't have, and I feel like I built that from nothing. And a lot of people say they built shit from nothing. And like, I'm sorry to use the S word. I hope I'm not in a bad place to swear. But like, a lot of people say they built everything from nothing, and it's always the guys that don't have anything built anyway. And it breaks my heart because I'll see them there with 20, 30 guys that are like jumping with them, and I'm like, you realize those guys aren't jumping with you because they like your music. They're jumping with you because they think you're going to be the next big thing. And once they realize that you're not, well, then you're just another 40-year-old that spent his entire life trying. Instead of just trying, why don't you do it? And they never understand me when I say that. They take it the wrong way. I'm like, no, like, you're not doing it. Do you think that, like, you know, and I do hip-hop mainly live. That's why I'm saying about hip-hop, because it's hard to find a band that's reliable to play guitar for or sing for. But, like, doing hip-hop, man, like, every one of them start with this condescending preconceived notion that just because I'm short and I'm very pale and I have face tattoos, they think I'm the next like SoundCloud guy. And I hate to even use that as a term, because like the thing is, people don't even realize the SoundCloud rappers they're talking crap on, marketing geniuses. If they made it from SoundCloud, there's something I guarantee you, no label played a hand in that. That was organic. They built that with their own pocket, with their own bag. And like too many people just want the handout now. And I want to reverse the whole idea of that even being a possibility. You know, like I feel like what my music's going to do while I'm here on earth is like, I'm going to show people that like, you have to listen to composers, because there's still composers out there. I know for a fact if they call you Spider Hands, you're definitely one. I seen a guy on one of your interviews. He was an older fellow. He said he had over 10,000 songs he lost. And I was just thinking like, that guy's a master. Like that guy's definitely a master. He definitely knows what he's doing, but will he ever say I'm a master? Not even close.
Is that the Randall or is that West? Was that Randall or is that Westchester?
Westchester, I believe.
Yeah, Westchester. Just sorry to interrupt, but Westchester's an interesting case because he's always been humble. He's never had an iota of a moment where he's ever felt like he was entitled to everything, and that's part of why he's such a good guy to chat to.
Oh yeah, I noticed that too. The whole conversation, like you would give him compliments, and he's immediately like, "No, no, 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 that ain't for me. I just want to make the music." Like, and I love that. When I seen that, that was honestly like the deal breaker for me when it came to getting a hold of you. It's like I feel as though I'm trying to surround myself with the greats. A lot of people can say that that's a subjective thing, but if you're a true musician at heart and you sit down with instruments and you can go into that, like I don't even know what to call it. Like you know how like whenever you sit down, you could be like just zoned out even watching TV. You're playing guitar just because your body's just naturally just that vibe now. Like that feeling is something I don't see in any. I'd say less than 0.1%. And I've toured the country of the USA several times. So like for me to be missing that, it tells me that there's something definitely wrong. And I feel like it's the loss of like what Bob Dylan said. He said without the lyrics, there's no music really. And I don't agree with that statement completely, but neither did he when he said it. What he meant was without the true understanding of the whole basis of what's even happening. You know, frequentially, our brains react a certain way to frequencies that are coming through the air. And that's what's so godly about it. You can convey an emotion with a piano. And like it's like why the B minor chord's always the, oh, I'm going to cry. You know, or like how the A is like, oh, let's get peppy. I just feel as though the last beauty of available on earth to fully dive into is music. Because, I mean, yeah, I have a list of like every chord progression ever used in pop culture, as well as every note you can play and then its relative minor, and I have all that on one canvas. And I looked at it, I was like, wow, I've studied music history all the way back that I can actually like, and it's just this, like this is it. How is this everything? And now whenever I listen to music, it's like all I know are sad songs. To quote a pop song. I don't know if you know who Mike Posner is, but that's I feel like that happens to all of us. Even the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you got to think about it. Like Other Side, right? Totally about that music. And then 21 Pilots, Car Stereo, right? The same song, you know? And I feel like the best musicians always end up singing that song because it's the only one they know.
Well, I mean, it's about the core human component of it. You can write a song and it can sound musically okay, but if people can't relate to it, that's difficult. But I understand what you're saying as well. Words have a limitation. You can have someone speak, and sure, people might care about the words, but the music sucks. It's about getting the balance right, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And like the thing that sucks about speaking, though, is, see, here's where I feel instruments are better than people. If I say house, you and I, we picture different houses. If I say country, even, think about that. You know, you and I picture a different country. So realistically, music breaks that gray area that we have, because of the conscious human mind and being able to like perceive. I have a rhyme scheme coming out on my next project. There's a run of lines that says, perceptually, they all think that they can see a perceptive me. So prospectively, I guess I'll perceptively be me. What I mean by that line is like, well, I mean, they're going to perceive whatever they want. And that's truly the art of being an artist. I mean, I know you know that. Like, you can show up in any city, you're on stage, you're rocking the guitar, right? These guys don't know you, so you can throw any personality you want out there. And I noticed that, like, the best of us, we throw out something that's like, you definitely want to look up to me because I'm a great influence on you, and I'm going to tell you to do whatever is best for you at all times. Like, that's what I do with every person I talk to. And believe it or not, almost all of them end up like not liking me. But I feel like that's just because people don't know how to face a flaw, address it, and really recognize it, but understand it for what it is, and not just look at it like, oh, that's a flaw about me. Because then it's like, well, yeah, then it definitely is. Because either you can or you can't. Either way, you're 100% right, and I can't argue with you about it. I mean, but that ain't my motto here at the studio, actually. On my wall, I have painted, it says, either you can or you leave. Because I run into that problem all the time. People give like perceptual things like that. They think that I have guys come over here to record and they'll be moving back and forth on the mic and they don't understand what I mean when I'm like, hey, dude, be a little bit more, stay steady. Like you need to steady up on my mic because it's a real sensitive mic. Even moving a little bit, it makes it a big difference when it comes to the post production for me. And to be honest, like even when they pay for like time with like a lot of money, because like I charge everybody differently because like, you know, I never know who's coming over here, and I've learned my lesson. Um, but like a lot of them are just disrespectful. They think they know how a mic works. They don't know anything about electromagnetic interference. They think they know how like a cardioid mic works, or they think they know how a omnidirectional mic works, or they think they know how to mic a drum kit. It's like how could you think you know how to do something and then enact it whenever it's something so dire? Because that's how I look at everything I do. I look like this G on my shirt, man. This is my brand. You know what I mean? I built this up like it was my baby, you know? And like people see it so weird whenever I get emotional about it. Like I'll see old CDs at a friend's house and they'll be like laying on the floor. I'm like, I hand printed that CD and then bought a freaking CD printer, put it in there, printed my image on that. I gave that to you for free to say, here's for being my friend, and this is for being here with me through this portion of my life. And now it's sitting on your bedroom floor, and I swear to you, they think it's okay for the reaction to be, my bad, man. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. You must not know me then. I just feel like I don't have enough musicians around me, especially because of the COVID stuff. Like, COVID really has been killing me. Just the way that the regulations all worked in the United States, like, it made it impossible to even pretty much stay in touch with anybody, kind of. Like, I mean, I still have, like, all my connections with venues and stuff and other artists, but the true connection that I had at one time with them is just so tainted. And I feel like the whole reason I reached out, like with the acoustic album, like, because I knew that was going to be a reaching out. My fan base dropped 600% 3 days after I put that album out. But it was the first time I ever had fans pay $30-$40 on top of what they were buying the album for. Like, you know, I had like 4 or 5 people pay $40-$50 for this thing. 4 or 5 people paying $50, you know, that doesn't seem like a lot. But I mean, if you do music, because people are going to watch this that don't do music, but if you do music, know this: 4 or 5 people paying an extra $40, that's a blessing. Okay, that is a we're having steak and lobster tonight and throwing a party blessing. But my listeners, they went way down 600%. I was like, what the heck? How are people paying extra? And then I realized my retention stayed up though. My retention's the best it's ever been. And I said to my fiance, I said, babe, you know what I did with this album? And she said, what? I was like, I unintentionally weaned out the ones I didn't want. And what sucks is even the ones I want, it's like, I don't even know if I want them. Because like, I never know when people are going to decide that they just want to be different. I hate that that's a decision now. And not like, the authenticity is just, it's arrogant. It's replaced with egotistical arrogance and entitlement. And nobody has earned that. I don't feel like anybody has earned that, really. Because everyone always says, like, oh, only God can judge me. Or like, oh, Jesus Christ died for my sins. And you know what I say to them? I say, okay, so whenever you go and you pass on, you know, your religion is obviously that you're going to meet God, right? Because you said, you know, Jesus Christ died for your sins. But do you realize then that whenever God says, who do we have here? You're then going to look at him and say, what? Jesus Christ? Because then how's he going to react? You know? I don't think as though he would look at you as though you were part of the Holy Spirit. That's all I feel, you know. Sorry, I get so deep into things. I'm also a writer. I just came out with another book, actually, too, on top of the one that I was telling you about in our messages. I came out with this book about postpartum depression because it was something that really struck my fiance real bad. I had a friend that just had a baby, so I wanted to make sure I got it out for his girl. But yeah, I take things to heart, you know, everything about life, really. And everyone always says to me, like, you do so much and you're so, like, expansive with your knowledge about everything. And I'm like, well, that's because I don't use my phone to remember everything. I don't need NordPass to remember my passwords. You know, I don't need, you know, Samsung Notes to write my lyrics. You know, I sit down and I do things the old way because the old way is right, truly. And I'm sure you agree 100%. Like, yeah, the new equipment's nice, but the old way, though, that was the way.
I think if you look at the current technology as a way of making music, like producing music more like easier or more fun, it's healthy. You know, there's a lot of fun toys to play with nowadays, like MIDI controllers and fun. Even those keytars. Have you seen those keytars where you can like hold them and you can like do that?
Yeah, dude. And they have like you can like it can make piano noise though. Like it can make piano noise. It can make like the one I seen was like a Japanese screaming girl. Yeah, that one. They have that one, and then they have like. See what I like to do the most though is like I have a Paul Reed Smith custom, so it sounds beautiful playing Pink Floyd. So what I'll do is I'll turn on a backtrack, but I'll play it on. I have a surround sound system in here as well as my studio monitors. So I'll plug my guitar into my studio monitors, but plug the backtrack into the surround sound. And when I have people in here, oh my god, dude, you should see half the time I get them looking like this. They're like, because I don't know, I just go into that mode, you know, like I call it guitar mode because the guitar takes over. Truly, like every guitar has a soul in it, and the souls in my guitars are. You know, fun fact: I was the first person to ever play the Taylor acoustic I have. I was the first person to play that exact guitar, and my buddy had Guitar Center put it in the back for me. I got it in L.A., Los Angeles, USA. But like, I'm blessed to have instruments like that, and what I noticed is like they sound even. I mean, they have a voice to them that's just different from other guitars I've played, man. Like I've played Jacksons that are beautiful. I've played. You know, I got to play a Rickenbacker, but for some reason, I don't know what it is about the Paul Reed Smith, but the Paul Reed Smith way of building a guitar, the intonation that you can maintain while also shredding your face apart, untouchable.
Do you think you enjoyed making this more recent acoustic rock album more, or did you enjoy making your hip hop more?
It's so hard to compare the two because, like, I've been making acoustic music like my entire life. Just because I started with acoustic guitar. I mean, obviously the first couple chords I learned, you know, G, D, E minor, and then we, you know, wrap it back to, you know, good riddance. But I have to say, like, truly, I'd say there's too many facets of each one of them that is nuanced in such a way that it's different when it comes to character, I'd say. The feeling of the character that I get to be in the moment. When I sing with an acoustic guitar, like I can also play harmonica too. I have like a harmonica holder. So when I play like Creep by Radiohead, I'll throw like a G scale harmonica in there, and wow. Vice versa though, on stage, different city, nobody I know out there, but they all know me. Like, because I've visited cities enough that much that like people know me and I don't know who they are. Like they'll come up and be like, "Oh man, you remember last time?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." But it must have been a blast, and I'm glad that you had a blast. But it's not. Then they always look at it like, "Oh, he was messed up when he was here." But no, I just don't. I just genuinely don't remember because I've played in like so many places. I feel as though the reason that my work goes overlooked by so many is because I don't focus on putting the highlight on my work. I like to be honest with you, man. I'd love to live my life doing like what UBK does. I could totally just. You know who UBK is?
It does not ring a bell. Feel free to introduce him.
Oh, House of Kush, like Kush compressors. Yeah, he's definitely a dude that I feel like understands where I'm coming from. I know you definitely understand where I'm coming from too, because I can tell you're probably stunned because you thought like, oh wow, this dude, man. I don't know what you looked up about me, but I mean I have a pretty wild like hip hop character, but I just recently decided I'm gonna just maintain the fact that yeah, I like to have fun and I like to do that hip hop stuff, but I feel as though the true artistry of music has been overlooked. I feel like a big reason for that is the over marketing of the same tunes, because it's not eclectic, so it didn't feel new to people. I noticed like nonstop, man, no joke. Having trained ears, I listen to the Hot 100s of like I'll listen to even Spanish music. Like I listen to all languages of music because like language like honestly doesn't matter. So like I listen to everything. But like when I'm listening to like other languages, I noticed even in the other languages, it's like I can tell they're pandering and basing their entire mojo, you could say, off of beat fetishism and off of, you know, like sonic fetish is what I like to call it. Like people have like a sonic fetish. They hear one little sound in a song that they like and they're like, oh man, this song rocks. It's like, what? You know, I can't handle when people are like that. You know, but that first part though, it's like, yeah, but then the second part that followed it up that was supposed to exemplify it. Yeah. Think about that though. You know?
Yeah, I suppose just because of the amount of music nowadays, that one little thing that really piques your interest can just be enough for some people. It sucks because like people put an entire rest of the song behind that, But like when you've got people who are relying on tracks being less than 3 minutes nowadays, even less than 2 minutes, sometimes that.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah, dude, it is astonishing to me. Every person I've ever done distribution with, like all the actual companies I've done distribution with, because I do online distribution now for myself. Like I just use what based on what I'm trying to target, I'll use a different distributor. Because like DistroKid's great, but that's for more like mainstream or like hip hop stuff. But if I'm gonna put out like what I would call like soul music, like anything that like even hip hop that is soul music, I would not release on because I have World Star distribution. So like I wouldn't even if there was soul in a song, I wouldn't release it through them. And I mean, I hope that they don't get mad at me for saying that, but realistically, I just started making money on their platform, so they probably don't give a crap anyway. I didn't make enough yet to look like I was anybody, but realistically, to me, it's not about the numbers, and I feel like that's what makes people the most angry about me is because to me, it's about the experience. Like it's the whole reason Woodstock went the way it did, because at one point, human beings needed that feeling of connection, and we're the furthest away from connected than we've been in ever, and we have the ultimate connection to the point where you're in. Like, where are you at right now?
New Zealand.
I knew you were in New Zealand, but what part?
In the South Island.
Like, okay. Your weather is a lot different than my weather. I wouldn't know unless I say, hey, what's your weather like today? The fact that we can do that right now, is that not insane to you? I still feel like it's new. I still feel like it's new because I remember the days whenever you'd have to listen to the whole, and then you got to wait for grandma to get off the phone. You know, he's trying to send my aims out. I need my aim.
Yeah, no, we live in an age where we're connected so closely by technology, yet we're far apart physically. And I think that the physical connection with people, at least in like a live show situation or a healthy bonding situation with artists and bands we can appreciate, I think that is missing.
It is definitely missing. For the life of me, I can't put my finger on like what the feeling is or like what the emotion even is that's attached to it. But I know that we're both talking about the same thing that's missing. You know what I mean? And like that in and of itself is like astonishing. You know, the fact that there's something that's that vital that, you know, a dude from New Zealand and a dude from the USA can both be talking about it, not know how to really describe it in a, you know, in a very finite way, but both know exactly where we're coming from whenever we say like, you know, it's missing. And I'm actually working to try to bring that back. I mean, I have a project coming out. I'm calling it Give Everything to Music Volume 1. I have artists from all over the world on it. I actually have the pleasure to have what I would consider a master in his craft is involved with this project. As much as I want him to be involved anyway, he keeps saying that, and I keep thinking like, what if I'm overstepping my boundaries with him? Because he hasn't even like brought up anything financially. He wasn't like, you know, oh, it's going to cost this much. He was just like, whatever you need, you tell me and I'll throw it your way. And I can't believe that because he's like a very well-connected individual. And I mean, I feel like he just can see that, you know, I'm conceiving the right dreams into ideas so that people could believe it and see it themselves.
I love that. If someone who was in that position said to me that they'd do something and they said that they'd do it without any mention of money, I would be instantly suspicious of that.
Yeah, I thought so too. But I mean, to be honest with you, he hasn't. I mean, like we video chatted a bunch of times. Like he really is the real dude. It's legit. He got me. He actually he's part of a promotion company. I said, your promotion company that you're part of. I said, how much stake do you have in that company? He said, not much. Why? I said, well, their website's really janky, and I was gonna offer to help because like I know how to do a little bit of you know, web development. I could definitely help you guys out with the structure of that. And he said, they're not worth your time. Well, 2 days later, I get a message from the CEO of the company that's there because I wrote them this long, very detailed message on how they could improve their website just in case they didn't want to hire me. They'd at least have the, you know, framework on what they needed to fix. And she said that she wanted to talk about doing free promotion, free this, free that. And I said, you know, the fact that you're throwing the word free around in your first messages with me tells me that I don't want to work with you. I thought he would be mad at me, right? Because I basically just told one of his, you know, associates, like, you know, if you'd have came at it like, hey, yeah, definitely, we could definitely use your help. You know, that's different for me than like, she automatically wanted to go straight to free promotion. You know why? Because she wanted free development on her website. That's what she wanted, realistically. Because what's her promotion going to be on the thing I'm coding? You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna trade for that. And I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't be worth it. I'm just saying like she didn't appreciate it for what it would have been. So like, there's no reason for me to even help. But I mean, honestly, I'm willing to help anybody. And I I hate that people get a hold of me and they'll be like, how much for this? And I'm like, dude, if you send me a beautiful song, like say you would get a hold of me and you'd say, hey, I can't quite figure out what I want to do with this compression on this riff I got going on here. I want it to be a little bit more fluffy, right? You send it over my way. Guess what I'm sending you back before I even reply to you? That, but fluffy. And saying, is that good? You know, because I know that you're a musician that's truly about it. Like you understand and you comprehend and articulate in such a way that I can tell you're not bogus. You know what I mean? You're not really, the only way to describe it is like, you're not a jive turkey, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're not jive. Yeah. But no, like I really do. I enjoy the way that you do what you're doing. And like, I looked at your, different accounts and stuff. And like, I really, I appreciate you for what you do, for it is right in line with what I'm trying to do. Basically, is it's the whole reason I was so down to like talk, and like I didn't want to like give up on us doing this. You know what I mean? Because at first me and you had scheduling issues where our time zones had us both like, But I'm so happy we got to talk because you're another person I've met that is after that same thing. I appreciate that full-heartedly. Like the way that you get people to stay engaged with with what they're doing without making it about yourself. It's beautiful quality.
Well, I mean, people just want to talk to someone. That's what it comes down to. And a lot of musicians nowadays have to work their butts off to get any sort of attention whatsoever. So when I talk to people during these interviews, I just want to, it's not about me, it's about you. I just want to give you guys a chance to speak and tell your story. And because people get the opportunity to do that, you get way more than what you get from a traditional 10-question interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, without a doubt. I've been on TV before doing interviews, and like, I'd much rather do the interviews like this. I mean, this is how I've done every interview for the past like 6 or 7 months. I did a podcast interview yesterday, or the day before actually. It was with that guy actually, the guy I was just telling you about. So if anybody's watching this that heard all that stuff, now maybe you'll know who I'm dealing with now, because now you know I'm on this podcast. But but it was like so crazy. It's a different feeling. Like even being on TV, right? When you're on TV, you have to sit with your shoulders facing the camera. I mean, like if it's a desk type deal, you know what I mean? They make you, hey, stay square to the camera. Don't be talking like this because then the camera sees your ear. You know what I mean? I mean, people don't ever think about that stuff. Being on stage, you understand, and I understand where they're coming from. But at the same time, it's like this outlet in and of itself is astonishing. I like the fact that I'm sitting in New Zealand right now and you're sitting in the USA is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's good to talk to you too, Skweeze. I appreciate it. Like, with regards to your plans for the future, like, you've talked about some of the issues with the industry. What are your plans in the mid to short term to address those outside of what you mentioned so far?
Mid to short term, I've been on a recruiting overhaul. Like, I have found the best and brightest minds that I can that do any genre of music, and I've been slowly combining them into a group. Not to do like one single project altogether, but to do an album together. And I'm going to encode the entire thing. I'm doing all the encoding and all the mastering. And I'm going to encode it in such a way that the SEO comes out so that it points all of our fans to be kind of unidirectionally pointed at each other. That way we can best show, because I feel as though people, they absorb stuff better if they're drip fed it. So I feel as though if they hear a track that has a good message behind it, even if they didn't even listen to the lyrics, you know what I mean? Even if they were just one of those guys who's like, oh, that was so hard, run it back. Well, you run it back. As long as the message is good, they're going to get it eventually. And then when they go to look at his stuff, they realize, oh, this guy's about that, man. He's about that stuff. You know, he's saying like, what's stuff to change is that, and like, then all of a sudden they notice, oh, all those other artists are tagged here. So now they go and they follow those people, and then they feel as though they came up with the idea to change on their own, but really it was drip fed. So that's my overall goal.
Yeah, well, I mean, regardless of whether, you're trying to change someone's viewpoints or perspectives or attitudes on stuff, drip feeding is still a good idea.
Not like to change their perspective, though. I don't want it to be put in those words because, listen, man, you don't understand. In Pennsylvania of the United States, with what you just said, I'm gonna have people hit me up like, so you're trying to change the way I look at the world, huh? Like, that's how bad it is around here.
Wow, that sucks.
But, like, yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. It's definitely a long, lonely crawl home.
Yeah, I guess it's just a cultural thing here in New Zealand. We just don't have that much animosity. We don't have that kind of stuff at the
Yeah,
moment.
guys are way more fun. I've noticed everybody I always meet from like New Zealand. It's what's crazy is New Zealand's like the only country I've ever met. Every person that I've met from there is just they're awesome. Like you guys, I don't know what your parents do while you're growing up, but I hope that I'm doing that with my kids. Oh man, I got that so much with my kids growing up nowadays. I'm like, geez, man, those people that I can't stand, they're not even taking care of their kids. Their kids. Their kids are in school with my kid, you know?
So I guess we'll disregard the thing I said about the changing perceptions and stuff part, but like drip feeding is still quite important just for the sake of it, you know?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I'm like, because the thing is, if somebody doesn't feel relative to something, they don't even look at it. Like the reason that people stop on their phone for 2 seconds before they continue scrolling is because they felt like a magnetic pulse pull them into something. I actually sell online. I have a couple online stores too. So like I do marketing for like stores too. So like I know how the whole marketing stuff works with colors and visuals. Understanding how people's how they value their attention, right? I've noticed that. Well, I mean, I guess there's a cryptocurrency out that says the best of it right now. It's a basic attention coin. You're getting the basic attention, but they feel like they're giving you like. I mean, if they were to see you in person, like, oh my God, did you see I hearted your picture? Oh yeah. I guess you've seen that I posted it. That's how I usually respond because I'm like, you're gonna be weird with me. I'm gonna be weird with you. I had a lady in the Sheetz, the gas station, down the street from my house. I don't normally leave my house, but she ain't really a lady. She's an old relative, but she screams. She's like, "Oh my God, I love your music!" Comes running over, and I said, "I'm about to clown you in front of this whole store right now. You know that?" And she said, "Why is that? That would be mean." I said, "Well, isn't this mean? Name 2 of my songs." Stunned, and literally the cash register lady goes, "Oh!" I was like, "Yeah, see, that's what I mean. People are just they're not authentic, and they think that you can't see that in their pupils. It's like, oh, I can see it. I can see it."
So with your music, do you think you're still going to continue to do the kind of acoustic rock stuff, or where do you see yourself going musically?
I have a couple of piano pieces that I put together, like composition wise. I just haven't fully decided where I want to put all of my notes in it just yet. I have a lot of just guitar pieces actually. Well, even on the album, even on the acoustic album, there's a guitar piece called Dream. I based it off of my whole idea when I was starting off was I was like, okay, 6th Pink Floyd album had 6 songs on it. Like I go by 3, double it up, that's 6. That's 2 times dead. Pink Floyd's almost gone, brother. So I was like, this is a dream. Bam. And that's why I made it called Dream. But I used like Metal, the album Metal. But that's originally it was called Metal with Metal Acoustics because it was metal but MEDDLE with METAL acoustics. And I was like, that's cool. But then it got rejected. They said the name was too long.
Oh, that sucks. I like that wordplay because you're good with your wordplay. I listened through Stone's Break, and that was an interesting experience.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Actually, at the end of the album, the end of Stone's Break it comes on. One of my favorites. I have a decent enough mic. If it sounds all right, could I play one of my songs from the album for you?
Yeah, sure. That's fine. Yep, that's fine.
Okay. I'm going to play you my favorite one. Also, I painted my Taylor guitar, so don't gasp whenever you see that I painted such a beautiful work of art.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. No, it still sounds great. I actually replaced my nut like once every 3 months because I play so much that my strings just they eat down into it too fast. So I always have to replace my bridge and nut. I got a question for you. Whenever you change your bridge and nut of your acoustic instruments, do you prefer ebony, bone, or that plasticky stuff?
To be honest, I've never really needed to do it with my acoustics. I get them set up once a year with a guitar tech in town, and then I don't think he's ever needed to replace them. They just kind of behave themselves a lot of the time, eh?
Well, you're a lucky man then. But yeah, originally I had a different chord progression for this. I'm gonna turn my mic sensitivity up, so if it gets a little loud, I'm sorry. It might not. Okay, so I called this Day of Forever. But when I wrote this riff, I was like, wow, that is so that's so early Dave Grohl. But like burn through most nights. I yearn through the days. I'm cursed for my sight. So sure I'll accept the way. Grow your blight, of course, your ego's your might, and mine's the blight of change. Day of forever, it's driving me insane. Day of forever, cycles off my pain. It's the day of forever, and it's driving me insane. Can't you tell?
Nice. Well done. That's cool. That's a first, man. I don't think we've had a performance during an interview before, so that's nice.
Well, I mean, you don't even have to throw it in if you don't want to. I mean, I honestly just wanted you to hear it because I wanted to see what you thought about that one.
I liked the guitar harmonies, and I liked how your voice worked with it. I think you harmonized well with it. There were some points of dynamic range where they were different. They were a little quieter bits, which were nice. How did you come up with those extensions on top of those chord progressions, like little arpeggiated bits?
Oh, yeah. So, like, I find a lot of enjoyment in, like, the early blues style of guitar, like the whole, like, you know, like stuff like that. I enjoy that, and so I played a lot of that stuff, and then I do I play a lot of Sungha-jung stuff. So like whenever I play, like even when I play like Simple Man by Leonard Skinner, I accentuate everything so much more. So it's like, you know, like I like to do like just little stuff to throw in, like Led Zeppelin, my favorite band of all time, favorite artist of all time, influencer, Bob Dylan. Favorite band of all time though, Zeppelin, without a doubt. Led Zeppelin changed everything. Well, the Yardbirds originally first, but then Zeppelin, you know, was the way it had to be, you know. But like they have Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. It's like, I don't like to play it like that. I like to play it like this. I go.
Cool. No, well done.
You know,
that sounds really good.
So I guess naturally, well, to answer your question though, like naturally, I feel as though my hand thought to do that. Not so much my brain was what I wanted to get at. Same with like Dream, that acoustic track that's just acoustic guitar, but like played like it's metal. I don't know what it is. It's just like my hands, they just kind of like, they do it for me. So it's like, I don't think about it when I play stuff that's like that quick. Cause it's like, you know, I don't think about it. It just like, they do it, you know? So like every time someone asks me about the guitar stuff that I got going on, I always tell them, you know, guitar is like an instrument that I play. When I play guitar, it's not like because I play cello as well. I play piano and I play trumpet and bass and drums. But like guitar is the only instrument that I play that I can say, I love that I hold it so close. You know what I mean? Like with a bass, I could take it or leave it. But with a guitar in my lap and like the way it rests on my belly and like just being able to feel the energy reverberate, you know, from the face of it, and you know, you feel it on your arm going around the back, and then you can feel that sound just forming, you know, and then when you hear it, it's like it envelops you and just it's literally like the song Lacquerhead by Primus. Like that scene in the music video when the devil's riding his back, like that, I swear that's how every guitarist feels when they reach like that point where you can just zone out and you're still shredding it. Because like I'm to the point now where I can play like the majority of everything that's popular, basically everything that people say, can you play, insert song name there? Yeah. So so it's like I don't know, I have a love for music, and I feel like my love for music is unmatched by anybody I've met so far, and I just keep hoping that I'm gonna meet somebody that loves it just as much, so that they know that like there's another person out there that does that. Because I feel like that's what I've been searching for the most, is like my home is like far away, and I'm just working my butt off to get there. That's how I feel every day. I'm sure you feel me on that. Like, it doesn't matter where you're at in life. It's like it just goes faster with every year. It just goes faster with every blink. And I feel like we waste a lot of them. And that's why I have been so proactive lately on like trying to get my message across to people and let them know, because I just don't want my time to be up and my message not be articulated.
I mean, you're doing the best you can.
I definitely am. I definitely am giving it the best I can every single day. I have 3 kids. Well, I have 2 kids now. Three on the third one on the way. So I'll have 3 kids. And like even my kids though, like my oldest son, he comes up here sometimes to the studio and he'll ask me, "Can I help with anything?" And we actually we recorded a couple of songs, like, but I don't plan on ever putting them out, just because, I mean, they're me and his collection. So, but he says to me all the time, he's like, "Dad, if you don't finish, don't worry. Like I'll finish this for you." And I'm like, the fact that he understands, because I don't have time to explain it to him. So I know that it's just pure observation. And then I realized like all my friends, well, they seen out of pure observation that I wasn't just going to sit around and smoke weed anymore. And that, I'm a medical marijuana patient, so like I do smoke weed, but I make sure that I do, like, to me, music's more important than that. It's like music's the only drug that you can dose, and I wish I could overdose on it. I'm telling you right now, if you could overdose on music, you wouldn't want to be at my house, because I would be turning everybody in town into druggies. For real. And I wouldn't even sell it to them. I'd give it to them for free. I feel like you definitely understand where I'm coming from with that. Just judging by the way that your facial expression looks, it's like I feel like you kind of understand where I'm coming from with the whole, like, music's the best drug out of all of them. Like, I mean, you're a musician, so I know you've tried drugs at some point. Hopefully, anyway. But like, not hopefully, but I mean, like, you know what I mean? But hopefully you did them and realized music is the better of the choices.
I mean, like, music has allowed me to put a roof over my head. It's allowed me to even consider having a family.
You're one of the greats.
I mean, I've been self-employed since I was 20. I've been self-employed for the last 10 years, and I work as a music tutor, as a reviewer, as an interviewer. When you told me that you didn't feel like that you felt that time was passing you by more quickly, I think it's a universal thing, because there's so many distractions. And when people are distracted by things, especially if they're made in a way which is addictive, flow thing comes into place where you get time blindness. It's scary, but it's good that you're aware of that. And it's important to be kind to yourself, because we're just evolved apes trying to cope with these.
Yeah, people don't remember. Like they see us like we're some kind of sentient being, when really, like, we're not really sentient. Like, we're just a combination. You think about it, we're the most neutral combination of every animal on Earth and every plant on Earth. If you look at it and try to put it into any perspective, that's the best perspective I can come at. Like, we have the canine teeth, we have the sharp teeth in the front, flat teeth in the back. There we go. We're herbivore and carnivore, so like we can do it. We're all manures. We're not all manure. Well, some of us are, though, full of it. But but no, like, yeah, I feel like people don't realize like how precious it is to even like be able to take a breath. And I feel as though if it was their last breath, a lot of them wouldn't say a lot of the things they say to people. I mean, even out of, like, I've gotten so great at it. Like, I used to be so bad at it. I'd get angry and I'd say like whatever came to mind, like, oh, I'm going to totally let my emotions, like, oh, screw everything that led up to this moment now because it's one thing. I was like that at one point in my life. To look back and like think about it, I'm like, wow, how was I ever so blind and ignorant to reality? Because, it's a real thing. It's like, we wake up every day and, like, to most people, it is the day of forever. Yeah. But I feel as though, even though I'm stuck in that day of forever type deal, my day of forever is what I wanted it to be, though. I just feel like I'll never have enough time to like write the amount of music that I want to write. Because I like making compositions of all types. You know, I like to make classical music. I like to make, I like to make metal. I like to make, I'm down with playing like guar. You know what I mean? Like I could play guar, so like I could do that, and everything from that to like soft rock or like B.B. King or like Bob Dylan, Arlo Guthrie, or my bad, you know what I'm talking about. But like the thing that I feel is just gone is diversity. I feel like diversity leaves more and more every day, and I'm all down with I'm all down with diversity. But the people that want diversity the most don't realize they're making it so statically not that.
The great paradox.
And yeah. And what sucks about it is like it's all about like I shouldn't be able to tell you what you can have in your house, what you can't have in your house, how you can save your money, how you can't save your money, how you can spend your money, how you can't. As another man, I shouldn't be able to do that to you. But if I was part of your government, I all of a sudden now have that right as a governing body. Like that's not cool. I just feel like human beings are way too dumb to have governments. I feel like we're not at the mental capacity yet as a mass to be able to handle the responsibility that it is to have elected officials. I mean, that's just where I stand on that. So that's why I feel like musicians exist, to be honest. Like we're kind of like the elected officials that I'm self-elected because I spent myself's time learning this. Can you do this and entertain these people? Even if you can, let's see you do it then. That's my favorite thing to do is like, if somebody's going to tell me they can do something, I tell them, well, then show me. Because that's what I do. I tell people, hey, I can do this. And what I've noticed is now that I can actually do everything I say I can do, nobody wants to see it anymore. I'm like, oh, darn. I'd be like, oh, hey, dude, I could play Beethoven on here. I start playing it and they're on their phone. I hate the disdain for culture, but the progressive fight towards diversity. That's not, and that's the same guy, by the way, sitting on the couch. He's telling you, oh man, yeah, no, I never want to persecute anybody. Did you see John though? Man, that tattoo they got, ugly as hell, isn't it? Yeah, okay, Tony, get out. I mean, that's my usual answer. Leave.
It's okay, like, because I've got to go soon, just because I've got some other business-related stuff to do. But it's been good chatting to you so far. Basically, how do you think you're going to find peace in future with what's going on?
I think the greatest minds in the world are soon to unite, and they might not even unite like directly, but I feel as though the greatest minds in the world are all thinking the same thing right now, because every person I get a hold of and I think, oh, this person might know. Well, if they end up knowing, they end up having the same reaction you did, which is like inquisitive and eager. Like I feel like I definitely put a bit of eager in your pep since we first started talking.
It's more like, because how old are you?
25.
Yeah, so you remind me a lot of where I was at 25. I was angry back then for reasons that I won't get into in this interview, but I can relate to some of the stuff you're talking about with people. I just wish you the best of luck with finding peace in that regard,
Yeah, man, I'm gonna need it because I've been trying, and I know you know where I'm at with it too. So it's like I'm trying, man. I'm gonna get there, hopefully. In the meantime, though, if you ever need any like guitar stuff, like when it comes to like if you're recording your guitar and you want to see if you can attain a different sound or a different texture, feel free to send it over my way. I won't keep anything or anything like that. I mean, I'd keep it 100. Keep it professional, and I wouldn't ever use your content for anything without prior written permission. Because I license everything, so if it's gonna be put out, I mean, I would have to get a hold of you anyway for the licensing. But I would love to work with you at some point if you would want to do that.
Hey man, it's okay. I've really got to figure out what I'm doing with my music anyways. But in the meantime, thank you for the offer. Where can people find your tunes and what you do?
Well, the main website is still under construction because I, to be honest with you, I am the team. I never have said this publicly ever before. Know this, everybody who's watching this. Know this, all the Get 'em fam. I lied to you. And now I'm telling you the truth that no, actually, there's not a full team doing all the things that you think were happening. Swear to God, it was just me. Now you understand why I'm where I'm at. I've had a lot of fans lately asking me, like, why do you seem so off? And it's like, because I've been telling him for years that I have like this, you know, like I always say the team. And like for a long time, I told myself I could just say, well, they're part of the team too. Realistically, no. The hell they are. They don't, you know what I mean? They're the fans and they're the fam. Yeah, that's great. You know what I mean? They support it, but they don't support it the way that I support it. And they never will because they never can. And that sucks. You know, so it's like, I mean, when it comes to me, when it comes to my brand is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like I could have, I've let other people, you know, I've signed other artists. The problem with that is they don't stick around, don't want to work, and they don't want to put any money behind themselselves. Like they expect me to pay for everything and pay for their gas to go to the shows and pay them for being there and pay to get the tickets printed and pay to promote. I don't think so. That ain't happening. That ain't what this is. So like, I mean, I already do that enough, you know, and I shell out enough money just even getting their tracks out, you know what I mean? And they don't even, you know, they don't respect that. But like, you can go to getemrecords.com. It's GETM records.com or getemproductions.com, which will, I'm pretty sure, just take you with a redirect to Get 'em Records. I'm on getemproductions.bandcamp.com. I'm trying to get the Bandcamp numbers up because I believe in Bandcamp as an outlet, but it's the only outlet I have less than 100 people on. So it's kind of, you know, hard to get it going right now. I'm on Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, Amazon Music. I have 2 books out on Amazon. And I mean, like, you just follow my social medias at Get 'em Productions, even on Snapchat, at Get 'em Productions, GETM Productions, no space, no apostrophe if you're trying to find the profiles and you're using a handle. But if you're not using a handle, apostrophe M, because I was dumb and put an apostrophe in there at the beginning of my business career. And now I have that business name and I'm not paying to change it. I mean, that's only fair, right? I mean, you feel me on that? It's like, oh man, it costs to get the DBA. What is this?
Yeah, that's pretty wild, man. But it's okay. We live in
I'm a Navy veteran, so it's like, I'm a Navy veteran, so it's like, I get the fee waived anyway, but it's like, I still have to send it in with proof that I'm a Navy veteran. So it's like, man, they go through so much to keep their clutches on you. I don't know what your government's like where you live, but I'll tell you this. Judging by the fact that everyone I meet from your country that has a smile on their face, you guys either have super crappy weather, so whenever it's a nice day, you're ecstatic and you're just happy about it for the rest of the year then. Like, something's going on. Because you guys are always happy, man. I would love to be happy. Like, New Zealanders, what is it? New Zealanders, or what do you guys called? I don't even know, like, what they call them.
Kiwis, New Zealanders, or Kiwis, but either one works.
I never heard that before, Kiwis. So like, yeah, everyone I meet from your country is like always ecstatic and stoked on whatever's going on. Even if what's going on is like super catastrophic, they're like, holy crap, you see what's happening? I can't do New Zealand accent. You guys have like the coolest accent too. It's like mixture of Australian and Russian. I don't know what it, you know, it's in between there somewhere. But I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. And to be honest, you're one of the first, like, you and the last guy who interviewed me, you guys are the only guys I've been nervous for an interview. So, and I didn't even need to be nervous because I thought you were going to be mean, to be honest. I was like, he's going to look at my hip hop stuff and then he's going to be like, oh, this is one of those, you know? And I was hoping you wouldn't do that. And I'm happy you didn't do that.
I mean, like, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense for me to do that, would it?
No. But I mean, you never know nowadays. I mean, I noticed in your other videos that you were pretty authentic, so I didn't expect it like as much as I usually would expect that. Because I mean, I've had a lot of people that say like, even that get a hold of me, like, you know, like they get a hold of me, be like, would you want to do a 5 or 10 minute appearance on this, that, and the other? I go do that 5-10 minute appearance, and like the whole time they're like looking at me like this.
Well, you know, like,
and it's like, you guys even want me here? And I like your outlet, and I'm gonna be proud to be a part of your YouTube channel, even though it'll be such a small amount compared to like what all you have. And I hope that anybody that's watching this, watch another one. Go back and watch the other interviews that he has done, because it's happening over here.
Thank you, Skweeze Get 'em of Get 'em Productions, Get 'em Records. Thank you very much for your time today, and I wish you the best of luck in future.
Same to you, my man.
Peace. And that was my review with Skweeze Get 'em from Get 'em Productions, Get 'em Records. Yeah, great chat. This is probably one of the wildest interviews I've done. Haven't really gotten as deep with a musician like this before. I genuinely wish Skweeze the best of luck in future. It sounds like he's got an interesting journey ahead of him, and I'm sure that he'll be able to accomplish what he wants to out of it. If you enjoyed this interview, please do go check out Skweeze, get his various social medias and his website. Stay cool and stay safe, and please also remember to stay cool and stay safe and support your local musicians and artists at this point in time. Is need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. Catch you in the next interview. Spider hands out.